Hey folks, all right, well, I've taken my Ibanez Artcore 12-string guitar, excuse me, and I've gone through it. I've performed a lot of setup on it, and there really wasn't that much to do. I just kind of tweaked the string height where I like it, and the pickup height where it sounded the best, I think. And I've got it very, very playable, and I've got it in tune for the moment. And I shouldn't make such a big stink out of it not being in tune, because actually the reputation of these guitars is that they don't tune well. Well, you've got 12 strings, and 12 strings take a long time to tune. By the time you're halfway through, you're out of energy for tuning, and you're like, I gotta do the next 6. And that's largely where that comes in. Once you get this guitar in tune, it's in tune for a while. I'm not having any real problems with it. The intonation, as I mentioned before, is difficult because of the the bridge saddles. You got 2 strings that are sharing a saddle, so you can't adjust the strings individually. You got to kind of manipulate your tuning and the pressure with which you play and the action that you set in order to get that intonation to not be too bad. So basically today I'm just going to show you what the result of having done that came out to be, and I'm going to plug it in and let you hear what the guitar actually sounds like plugged in. So what we'll do is we'll go through one pickup at a time. These are the original pickups, of course, and nothing on this guitar has been altered or changed or swapped out or anything. This is the way the guitar came, completely stock. Didn't remove anything, didn't add anything. Just did the setup work. The frets, which is typical of Ibanez, the frets are perfect. Absolutely perfect. I don't think I could have done, a better job leveling these and crowning them as they have been. Actually, they didn't look like they required a lot of crowning. I do see some that had to be done, but whoever did it right, and this thing is perfect. There's no buzz anywhere. It's tremendous. This is what the guitar sounds like. This is the bridge position pickup by itself on a clean channel on my Monoprice 15 watt amp back there, and it sounds something like this. The magic of 12-string picking. I mean, provided you're a good picker. I can kind of get there, but you guys who are better at it, if you buy one of these things, I'm sure you'll make it shine a lot more. The intonation is not that bad way up on the neck like that, on one of the octaved strings. The E and B strings, the E and B double strings of this guitar are not octaved. They are identical. They're tuned to the same octave. Whereas every string from the 3, 4, 5, and 6 string, those strings are all octaved. And so on and so forth. So that's the bridge position. You name the tune. I don't want to play a whole lot of, very familiar songs, but you know how it goes. I'm just going to stop doing popular songs because I'll make them unpopular. But you know what I'm getting at. There are no effects. That is just the guitar. Let's switch to the middle pickup position, the blend of the 2 pickups. And that's got a nice scoop. I love that scoop that you get. Sammy John song. And I got to tell you, this thing is an absolute dream to play. This 12-string guitar is not hard to play. The only thing that makes it hard for me is, that's not the hand of a guitar player. It never was. And those fingertips are, they are not conducive to individually picking a doubled string. You're going to hit the strings next to it. Not much I can do about it. But let's try the neck position pickup. Kind of has its own dimension. It's more likely to drive the amp. It's got some pretty good output. I could move it further away from the strings, but the reason why I'm not going to is because I tend to try, when I'm not demonstrating on a video, I'm trying to play with some dynamics. So I like it to be a little hot, a little close to the string, so that I can just do the, and get some extra sustain out of it and that kind of stuff. So what happens when you put overdrive on a 12 string? Let's find out. Crank that up. We'll go back to that bridge position pickup for that. It's a saturated, rich sound, but it works. It's Ibanez, of course. Might be a little too saturated with the setting I have. Take some of that out of there. And by the way, these are the strings that came with the guitar. Except for a little bit of crud that I found on them, which I thought was corrosion and just turned out to be some kind of sticky something. It looks like it was residue from black tape. Don't ask me how. Maybe they taped them out of the way when they were doing something. But the strings do seem to be pretty new and pretty nice. And they are color-coded. So we know the brand. How about barky but not too distorted? That's pretty interesting. I like it. It's not bad. Change pickups. Middle position. Remember, the E and B strings are not octaves. They are simply mirrored to each other. They're the same octave. So when you play with distortion, it just kind of sounds like a single string. You can tune this such that the mirrored strings are slightly out of tune from each other. Just enough to hear a resonance wobble of about wow, 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 about that fast. You do that, you'll get some more dimension. These are probably, that was about right. Meow, meow, meow. I got what I deserved. Left you waiting there too long, my love. Not bad. So my playing sucks today, but I mean, the sound of the guitar. I'm actually going to take this with me to practice today. I'm actually auditioning a bass player today, and I've been playing bass in my band. And I'm going to be real picky, unfortunately, for this poor bastard who's coming down, but he seems pretty accomplished. And I'm going to switch back over to guitar. So what I did was I went in my back office and I got my Bogner Alchemist half stack that I've been rediscovering lately. And I dragged it out. This was tough for me, man. This took me about a half an hour. I took the head off, unplugged all the wires, unplugged the power cord, all that good stuff. Made sure the wheels under the cabinet were still turning. It had been sitting there so long. And I wheeled it out to my SUV outside. And I put the head in, and boy, what a labor that was. I was destroyed after that. My legs are bad. But I drove it to my buddy's house, and I put it down in the rehearsal room. And I brought this with me when I did that, just to see what would happen. And the results down there were astounding. And I only stayed about 10 minutes to do that night because we weren't actually having practice. But I plan on using that today. I'll probably use this. And I've got my Samick TR4, which kind of looks like an SG and has P90s, actual P90s on it. I'll probably use that today with that Bogner Alchemist half stack. I'll probably use my Ibanez AS7312 6-string, which is that's my work guitar. That's when I play guitar in a band, that's the one I use. For the most part. I have other things kicking out. I dragged out my my Les Paul Studio, what do they call that? Worn brown mahogany. Busted that one out the other day. I have a lot of options, but today I'm probably going to bring this, that Samick TR4, and my Ibanez AXS32, because if the guy's really good, then I'm going to want my workhorse guitar, my AXS32, with that, Alchemist actually getting a bit of a workout, because I'm going to kind of put him through the paces. And for all I know, he may put me through my paces. But I'm a pretty good bass player, much better bass player than I'm a guitar player, and so I'm going to be picky. The reason why I'm doing this today, I didn't advertise for a bass player who could sing. I placed ads in the trade websites and other places, looking for a singer who can play bass. I wanted to see what sort of responses I got, and typically, in this part of the state of Massachusetts, there are only a few people who will respond to that particular ad. I got 2, one of whom made it as far as saying, I think I'd like to come down and audition with you guys. It sounds intriguing. So he's coming down today. The other guy hasn't responded to me. He responded once to an ad I placed. He said, I'm your guy, absolutely, I won't disappoint. I said, great, that's great. Let's set up a time. Never heard from him again. And I followed up a couple of times. Look, I don't want to pester you, but if you really mean to come down, let me know, so we can pick some songs to have ready and a date, to do it on. And I think I might have gotten trolled with that one because he's just, because he answered an ad that didn't contain his own email. So when I replied to it, it was through the server that I placed the ad on, and it's anonymous until the correspondents agree otherwise, and he didn't volunteer any more information, so don't know how to reach him. Probably got trolled. So today I got the one prospect I've got coming down, and I'm going to throw some of this at him. I'm actually going to try that Beatles song with him. It's called "If I Needed Someone." If I needed someone to love, you're the one that I'd be thinking of. If I needed someone. I've got my chorusing effect and my echo and all that all down in the room, so it's going to sound big. That, by the way, was the neck position pickup. Middle position. Bridge position. Last girl's not one with the defects, cellophane shrink wrap, so correct. Red dogs under illegal lane. Maybe not for that song. It was working, but until you got to that, you don't want an octave on that. You want that to be subtle and ugly. Not that it isn't ugly for me, but that's what I got when I set this thing up, and I went all through it. Every bit of this is quality, and for $550 without the case, I think it was a very fair purchase. I mean, Ibanez guitars with me. I mean, I've played mostly everything there is, except for a lot of really custom tiny master builder shop guitars, of which I have only one. I've got Gibsons, Fenders, all over the place, and all the brands that people like. Usually, a mid-price version of one of those brands. I've got a nice Epiphone Les Paul that I've used and things like that. But Ibanez guitars with me, Ibanez guitars have been just the guitar. I have to say, if somebody ever asked me at the end of my life, so what was your favorite guitar brand? I think I'm going to say Ibanez. Because you know what? They can be expensive, but they're usually not. And what you get, unless you get a real lemon somehow, which I've never heard anyone say they got, every Ibanez guitar I've got is among my go-to guitars. This one being the newest, it feels like an old friend in my hand. It feels like an Ibanez. There's nothing quite like it. And it's fast, and it's comfortable, and it's so well done, and these frets are so well rolled off. They're not as well rolled off as those ball end frets like you get with a Firefly guitar. Believe it or not, Firefly actually does a better job. But among those guitars that typically come with sharp fret ends, this one, no. You can get way up close to the top where it would be hard to roll these off, and you can feel an ever so slight little grab. Hello, I'm here. But not anything like, oh, I can't play this. That's awful. Oh, no, nothing like that at all. A little slight bit at the very top. The rest of it, professionally done. You can feel an edge, but you don't feel a needle edge or a hook. You don't feel that. But you can feel where the edge is sharpened, basically. But not sharp sticking out, just sharp, like machined that way, to have an edge. The little sides of the end of the fret, you can feel that, just the edge that's there. They don't roll that off, and what it basically accomplishes to do it that way is to leave more room, more available space at the top surface of the fret. Because if you do take the time to roll that off really well or file those corners, you might lose about a 1/2 millimeter at each end. You could. You know, if you're not paying real close attention, you could do that. But this thing, nope, no need. And you get the full length of the fret. The full length this way of the fret to use. You're likely not going to fall off the end when you go to bend something that way. And you're never going to hook a string on the end of the fret, which, if you've ever done that, you grabbed your E and pulled it off the neck accidentally, had it hang up on the end of a fret. That won't happen on this guitar. Can't. So that's what I've got for you. Did it go out of tune? That sound out of tune to you? A little different. Intonation is not exactly perfect, but you know what? What do? Rock and roll. And what's that close enough for? You guessed it. So thank you for watching my demo of the my new Ibanez Artcore 12-string electric guitar. The model number will be in the title of the video. I don't think they actually post it on the guitar. No, they actually do not. But the model number will be down in the blurb. So wish me luck with my audition today. I hope I find a bass player. If we do, then I'll be back doing probably some power trio stuff until I can get my keyboard player is actually offline for a while. He's coming from pretty far away. He's dealing with some issues right now, so he's taking a break for a couple of weeks. We'll see what we can get for a power trio sound today. And what I'm looking for is big harmony vocals. Maybe one of these days I will record some of that stuff, and if I can find a loophole in the proprietary nature of whatever it is that we record, I may share some audio with you. But I don't want to promise it yet. Haven't done it so far, except for just playing lamely here. My channel's not big enough for YouTube to worry about me, you know. They'll notate me, oh, you can't monetize this video because I recognize this song you did. I'm not too worried about it. At that, I will say thank you for watching me demonstrate my guitar here, and tune in again sometime soon. I'll try to post more material. Maybe I'll share some of my other guitars with you, and you can give me your opinion. Let me know what you think of the Ibanez Artcore double cutaway 12-string electric guitar down in the comments, and if you haven't already, then throw a like on it and subscribe. Subscriptions don't make me money. They only let me see that people are enjoying the channel. So anytime you do that, really, it only amounts to making me feel good, and then it notifies you when I come out with something that you might actually want to watch. So for now, it is Saturday, March the 11th. I know it's been a few days since the day I opened this guitar and did the box opening half of this video, until now that I'm actually demoing it. But in between that time, I've had a lot of stuff to do and didn't have a whole lot of time for setting this up. When I finally did, I said the first thing I'm going to do is make a video. So there you go. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you all for watching again. Enjoy your weekend. And spring is right around the corner, and I can't wait. So enjoy that when it comes to your area. And hey, I love you guys. Take it easy.